In today's video, we're going to be discussing the basics of budgeting in retirement and how to maximize your money. Are you ready for it? Let's get into it and talk through all the details. All right, now first off, like I said, in this video, I want to help you better understand your finances and how to maximize your money. Now, I completely recognize everybody's situation is very different and everyone's financial situation is also very, very different. However, at the end of the day, it's just numbers. If we understand the numbers, we can get you into a much better financial position and make your retirement a lot more enjoyable. In fact, believe it or not, right now, most people have no clue where they're sitting financially. That's a major problem, okay? So whether you are currently retired or going to be retiring sometime soon, you've got to understand this information. And even if you're somebody who's maybe, I don't know, 20, 25, 30, and retirement is many, many years and decades out in the future, this is also something very important to understand. Whether it's during retirement or not, this is very important stuff. You've got to understand where you are financially. In fact, if you don't believe me that a lot of people don't have a clue where they are financially right now, stick with me on this because I will prove it to you exactly how most people have no clue where they are and again, don't even understand their own finances. And again, that is exactly what I want to help you better understand here in this video so you can enjoy your retirement rather than struggling like so many people that are right now. I mean, seriously, look across the board. You see so many people out there right now that are barely scraping by or not even scraping by right now during their retirement. And it's a really sad situation. I mean, they tell you the golden years, right? You're supposed to be enjoying life during this time. But think of it this way. I'm going to give you a quick analogy here really fast, okay? Think of it like you're being lost, right? You're in a big city, you're out in the woods, right? You're out in the woods, you're lost. If you don't know where you are, it's really hard to ask for directions and figure out which way do I need to go to get me out of this situation, right? That's the whole point here. We need to figure out where are you right now, and then we can define a situation here, as in find a direction, and then we can start moving in that direction, which is a better place to go, right? You never want to be lost either in a big city or out in the woods, right? Not a good situation. You got to find your way back to civilization and get yourself into a safe situation yet again, okay? So first off, let me ask you this much, and again, this will prove to you right here how many people don't understand their own financial situation. So let me ask you a couple quick questions. What is your monthly income? Now, which by the way, do not leave this down below in the comment section. It is not for me to know, and it is not for anybody else to know, but just maybe write it down or think it out loud or whatever, however you want to do this. But let me ask you, okay? So what is your monthly income right now? You could be talking gross, net, whatever it happens to be. How much do you bring in on a monthly basis, okay? Do you know that number? I'm going to tell you this much. A lot of people don't even know this number, okay? You got to know this number right down to the dollar, okay? Maybe not right down to the penny. You can. The more you are specific on this information, the better off you're going to be. But if you know this number, that's great. Now, let me ask you another follow-up question. What are your monthly expenses? Now, I completely recognize monthly expenses do oscillate a little bit. They change on a monthly basis. Maybe one month it's, X dollars, and the next month it's a little bit more or a little bit less, but you should have a pretty general range, right? You should have a pretty good idea of what your expenses are. Now, get this much. If you know what your monthly income is, most people, if they even know that in the first place, they have no clue what their monthly expenses are, okay? This is what I'm telling you right here, okay? Now next question would be is you have your monthly income, if you know that number. You have your monthly expenses, if you know that number. What is left over, as in what's the surplus? If any, okay? Again, a lot of people have no clue what this number even is, okay? You've got to know all these details in order to get yourself into a good financial position. And then the next question being is, what do you do with that surplus? Again, most people respond with, I don't know, there's no money left at the end of the month. Well, yeah, if you don't know these numbers, I can guarantee you there's not going to be any money left. Why? Because we always find a way, most people find a way to get rid of the money. That's the problem. We need to know these numbers, okay? So I want to make it very clear. I'm not trying to sit here and preach to you and be like, you're in trouble. You don't know your numbers here, okay? I'm not trying to be that way, okay? But it is very important to understand the basics of this. It's very important to understand the numbers behind all of this to get you into a better position. Like I said a minute ago, the analogy, you're lost in the woods. How do you get out of the woods? Well, if you're like a good Boy Scout or Girl Scout, you whip out your compass and you realize, hey, I entered the woods walking east. I should probably walk west to get out of the woods, right? You have a compass with you. Or if you're really good, maybe you're somebody that just instinctively knows what direction is northeast, southwest, things like that. Or maybe you can gauge by the sun or different directional sounds, things like that you might hear. I don't know. My point is, if you know which way you entered in, you probably have a good way to enter out, right? So therefore, you need to know the directional point on this to get yourself out of a financial situation or into a better financial situation. So like I said at the beginning of this video, we're talking about the basics of budgeting in retirement, okay? And again, this goes for anybody, everybody, whether it's somebody who is retired or not, needs to know this information, but especially during retirement. Why is it so important during retirement? Because most people in retirement are living on a fixed income, right? Somebody that's retired is probably not working, full-time or even part-time. Maybe they're doing a few little projects on the side to drum up a little bit of extra money, things like this. But most people who are retired are not traditionally working, right? Maybe living on Social Security, living on a pension, living off of dividend income or portfolio income or whatever it happens to be. There's all kinds of things. Annuities, right? The list goes on and on. There's tons of different options. But, okay, so this is what I want to suggest for you to do. Number one, figure out exactly how much your monthly income is, okay? You could base it off of gross income or net income. Just do whatever's best for you. I would suggest figure out your gross income, okay? Why is that? Because it's just the best number to work with. It's the total, the top line number. It's just a kind of an easy number to work with. But if net income works better for you, then by all means, use your net income. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's going to arrive at a similar outcome for you. Either way, it's understanding the numbers. At the end of the day, the whole purpose of this exercise is to understand the numbers. That's the purpose behind this, okay? So number one is determine what is your monthly income. Very important. It could be $1,000. It could be $2,000, it could be $5,000, it could be $10,000, it could be $50,000 a month. I don't know. It's different for everybody, right? Some people have very high incomes during retirement. Some people have very, very low incomes during retirement. You've got to know the numbers, okay? So number one, understand what is your monthly income. Next, figure out your expenses. And like I said earlier, I totally get it. Expenses oscillate. Every single month, nobody's going to spend the exact same dollar amount every single month unless it is all of it, right? There are people, believe it or not, that spend 100%. Well, then we easily know what your expenses are. If you spend every single penny that you get in income, well, then your income is X and your expenses are the exact same. X, right? So we don't want to be in that situation. That would not be the ideal situation, but it is a situation that a lot of people are facing, okay? So figure out a range on your expenses, the high range, the low range, kind of figure out what it is. In general, you probably spend within just a couple percentage points of the same dollar amount every single month. Believe it or not, if you look through your receipts or you start tracking your income and expenses over the coming months here, you'll clearly see that you spend a very similar amount of money every single month. I know it's weird how that works, right? We're programmed. I mean, believe it or not, we're like, we're habitual. That's just how it is, right? We do the same things. I mean, think of it this way. What'd you do today, right? So far this morning or so far today. Did you kind of repeat the same thing you did yesterday and the day before and the last 2 weeks and the last month? I know that I do, right? It's like the same routine, day after day after day, the same thing. Wake up, make coffee, drink coffee, do all kinds of stuff, check my email. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing every single day. So that's kind of the same thing. We're habitual when it comes down to these types of routines. So that's what I want to encourage you to do next is, again, determine your income and get a range on your expenses. Now, next, figure out what is the surplus, if there is a surplus. So let me give you a quick example. Let's just say that your gross income is $2,000 a month, okay? Let's just say that your expenses are right around, $1,000 to $1,200 a month. That would leave you with a surplus of between $800 and $1,000 per month in this example that I'm giving right here, okay? So that is your surplus. The surplus in this example is between $800 and $1,000. Nice, okay. Now next question being is, what do you do with that surplus, okay? Now, here's the thing. Do you push that surplus off into like an investment account? Do you put it in a savings account? What do you do with that income, right? What do you do with that extra money? Here's the problem. If you do nothing with it, as in you just like let it, you don't have a place for it. If it does not have a pre-assigned place for it to go, I can tell you this much. It's not going to stick around long. It's going to go into somebody else's pocket, someone else's bank account. Guaranteed. How do I know that? Because just look at it. This is what everybody does, right? If you don't assign a place for your money, somebody else will get it, okay? They're not going to come and take it from you. You will willingly give it to them through products and services, and you'll buy stuff, okay? I mean, if that's what you enjoy and that's what you want to do with your money, then by all means, do it. Whatever you want. I'm never here to sit here and tell somebody what to do with their money. That is not my style. I never really want to do that, right? Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you want to do with your money, however you enjoy spending your life and your financial resources, then by all means, do whatever makes you happy, whatever fulfills your fancy, okay? That's best for you, okay? But then again, once you determine what the surplus is, you kind of got to figure out, hey, okay, I've got this surplus. What am I going to start doing with it? If you don't have a pre-assigned destination for that money, figure it out. Do you want to put it into a high-yield savings account, a money market account, maybe plow it into a CD every couple of months? Do you want to put it in the stock market? I don't know. Again, it's totally up to you. That is what you've got to determine, okay? Buy savings bonds, okay? Buy some good old savings bonds and throw them in a safe deposit box for the next 7 years until they mature and then pull them out and have a little bit of money left over. I don't know. Again, totally up to you. But that's what I want to encourage you to do is figure out those things. Before you know that information, you can't really get on a stable financial footing until you understand all this information, okay? So that's kind of the major problem. And like I said earlier, a lot of people don't know this information. There are some people that understand their income, okay? Income is the most widespread number that most people know. I get exactly $1,822. Okay, awesome. You understand your income. But the big point is, what are your expenses? That's the major question that we all need to understand, because this is where things get out of hand. If you don't know your expenses, we're in a major problem, okay? So that's what I want to point out for you really quickly. So that's what I would encourage you to do. If you want, by all means, go through this exercise and just kind of understand this stuff. And again, at the end of the day, this is not for me. I don't really care if you do this or not. That's not, I guess it's not really my thing. I mean, I've done it for myself, and I want to understand where I'm at. But I mean, if you don't want to do this, by all means, then don't do it, okay? I'm never here to sit here and be like, okay, you got to go do this right away today, and if you don't, you're in trouble. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, here's the thing. I want to help you out as much as I possibly can, but if you're not willing to go through this exercise, you're just going to get more of the same old, whatever you're currently doing right now and whatever your financial situation is, that's just what it's going to be more of, right? And that's fine. If you're enjoying your life and you're enjoying retirement, then that's great. Just keep doing it, okay? But if you want to get on a more stable financial footing, then you've got to understand all these numbers, okay? Think of it this way as well. Think of like a big, large corporation or big business. Do you think that they just willy-nilly go out and be like, well, we think we're bringing in about, I don't know, $5 million a month. We think we're probably spending, I don't know, about $2 million a month. And yeah, the rest of it, we just let it sit there. We just let it go and just do whatever we see fit at the time. No, that is not how it works, okay? Large corporations or any successful business, they know exactly how much money they've got coming in. They know exactly how much money they have going out through expenses and payroll and taxes and all kinds of things like this. They know these numbers. What do they do with the surplus? They already have it predefined. They put it into research and development. They put it into hiring new people to expand their team and expand their business. They put it back into investment in the company. I mean, seriously, they do all kinds of stuff with it. They have that money allocated. They know what's going on with it. That's why they're successful and why they have big bank accounts and why they're bringing a lot of money, right? Same thing here. So anyway, like I said earlier, basics of budgeting for retirement. We need to understand that. I'm going to come back in a separate video and follow up to this one and discuss these details in a lot more detail and kind of break it down further. But we need to understand this first before we can get into any other steps of the whole budgeting during retirement and just understanding your finances. So does that help you out a little bit? I hope so. So I just want to make it clear. I'm not here to sit and preach to anybody. But at the end of the day, you got to understand this. And you got to put some importance behind this. It's very important to understand this, to at least understand income and expenses. You got to have a basic understanding of that at least, okay? And then we can move forward and figure out, okay, we've got a surplus or we don't have a surplus, we have a deficit, and then how do we fill in the holes, right? That's another thing to do as well. You may not have a surplus. How can you get a surplus if you want to have one? Make sense? Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Let's follow up in another video and we can expand on this thought, but let's just keep it at this for right now. So let me ask you a huge favor. If you've not done so yet, will you make sure to subscribe down below? Totally free to do so. The big subscribe button down there, make sure to hit that if you've not done so. Also, feel free to share this video, the big share button down below with your friends, send me social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel, including those that I've hand selected for you down below in the description or at the top of the comment section. And until next time, check out the videos here on your screen as well. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, and I'll catch you again later in the next